So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to see it's happening already. Welcome to the ADHD Reframe Project podcast, which is proving to be a bit of a mouthful for me. Yeah, welcome to our listeners. With me, host Emma Craven. Today I'm joined by Michaela. Michaela is the guest for today. So would you like to do a little bit of an intro to yourself, please?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. My name's Michaela Adams. I'm based out of Gulf Shores, Alabama, over in the United States. I've been diagnosed formally with ADHD since 2021. So into my adulthood, navigated all of childhood not knowing what was up. And I do conference and convention servicing down here at a Hilton hotel, down on the beach. So
Wow. Oh, I love the beach.
I
The
know
beach.
I'm on my laptop, so I can move it, but we've got it right outside, if it'll even
Oh,
focus.
you've got a sea view.
I
Yeah.
do.
It's weird for me. It's not weird, but whenever I go to the beach, even if we just walk along and just, get some fresh air, I don't know what it is about the sea air and the actual sea just makes me calm down and everything
There's a
kind of
lot of
becomes less noisy.
there's a lot of science behind how you actually release endorphins when you're walking in the sand, which is surprising because I hate having sand stuck to me.
You said,
But
right, I
the
don't like
ocean
the
is
sand. I like the
just
sea.
mhm. If we could have a concrete beach, sign me up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the sticky sand I don't like. It's that sensory stuff, isn't it? I don't like. My daughter always says to
Mhm.
me, "Mum, you're a bit weird. You like the sea and you like to go to the beach, but you don't like the sand on you." And I'm like, "Yeah, exactly."
Baby powder will take it right off. Fun
Oh,
fact.
oh, I didn't know that.
Carry some of
Mhm.
your beach bag. At least it will with our beaches here. We have, like, the very fine white powdery sand, so it'll come right off with that.
Oh, there you go. You've taught me something new. I didn't know that. So, alas, here we are. That's amazing. Um, so would you be happy sharing your diagnosis journey,
Yeah,
please?
of course. So I grew up in the States. We have a program called the Gifted and Talented program, but it was kind of for those that were always pacing ahead in elementary school, some middle school, and then high school, I just completely burnt out. I had all of this I was very capable of doing very well, but I could not apply myself, and I had a lot of what I've now come to find out is executive dysfunction through that. I have great parents, but they did not necessarily believe in trying to find a root to that cause. So in my adulthood, I got tested, the most grueling test I think I've ever taken in my entire life. Yeah, not super fun. But then they were like, "Yeah, you're very severely ADHD." I was like, "Oh, that's great." So I learned about it more. I started therapy for it and how to kind of manage life and tasks differently. And I found great community in the job I'm currently in because being neurodivergent, of course, there's a unconscious bias I feel like a lot of people have. And I have great leaders in my workplace that have family members that are on the spectrum, so they have been very supportive in navigating things are gonna look a little different for me. So yeah, I've been doing that since 2021. It was a little hard at first, kind of coming to terms with I was always taught that that's something, like, wrong necessarily, and now learning that I can use it in ways that make my brain work so perfectly for what I do, it's come to be really amazing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's important. Like, once we find what our special interest is, and then we use that to our advantage. So, if it's something that we're really passionate about or interested in, and you've got that novelty to it, that means that we're going to work a million percent harder to kind of the job done, aren't we? So yeah, I
For
love that.
sure.
Yeah. So what is there anything specific that you use to kind of manage the executive dysfunction?
Really, spreadsheets have surprisingly helped me a lot. My job revolves around to-do lists and dates and deadlines, which I've learned at first before I knew how to navigate that were terrifying and kind of made it worse. Like, oh, if you're telling me I have to have this done by this date, I kind of don't want to do it anymore. But kind of just keeping track of doing small bits at a time by certain dates has helped me a lot. Um, as far as like getting myself to do something necessarily, kind of just reminding myself that if I do it now, but I can do a small piece like day by day by day is a lot better than the dread I know I will feel when I eventually procrastinate something, which does still happen, of course. But just kind of reminding myself, like, hey, you'll feel a lot better if you do this little bit now than all of it at 11:59 the day before.
Yeah. Lastminute.com, I call that. You
Yes,
know, is that,
yes.
there's two ADHD, two different times. There's now and not now. And obviously the not now is the procrastination. And then, you need to get something done for the next day and you're just manically running around trying to get it all sorted, or, you're doing whatever it is that needs to be doing. And I know from my partner that to him looks stressful. For me, and it's sometimes difficult for non-ADHD people to kind of get that that's how we function. But I love the fact that you've said that you break it down and you just do a little bit each day, because that for me, although it is difficult some days to kind of implement that, I think like having someone that I can sit down with that will break things down into chunks, an hour at a time or half an hour at a time, where things actually do get done. And then it's not like 2 days before my essay's due, and I've sit for 18 hours hyper focused on it to get it finished, which is not for the faint-hearted. But I think, starting as early as possible and then just breaking things down into kind of more manageable chunks, because obviously, I don't know about you, but for me, I sometimes struggle to work out how much time something is going to take me, and I think it's only going to be a 5-minute job, and it's like 10 hours later, I'm sitting there and it's like, yeah,
Yep.
it's not a 5-minute job, is it? I'm just, you know, and then it's just like, oh, it needs
Yes.
to get done because the deadline's tomorrow. And it's kind of, like hacking that part of the ADHD sometimes has been a little bit challenging for me.
No, me too, for sure. It's my biggest struggle is my home life. Because at work, I have, I mean, I have at least outside pressures to get stuff done or my livelihood is on the line. But my biggest one I've realized is my home. Like, my desk is such a tidy space at work, but my house, having to stay on top of doing all of that and bringing myself to do all of that, and I procrastinate so bad, it piles up so much. Like, that's my biggest thing I'm navigating right now is keeping a very clean house, really.
Yeah. Wow, I'm glad you said that actually, because it's like when my daughter's 27 now and she moved out, I think it was last year or the year before, I can't remember. No, it was the year before. And since she moved out, it's like, even though she was an adult, she came home after she did her degree. And even though she was an adult, it's like having her in the house. Obviously, she's my child, so having her kind of back in the house made me kind of a little bit more accountable. But now I'm like you, I'm just like, it's just
Mhm.
managing the home, or managing the things in the home that I need to. It's like I live in permanent chaos, and things can
Yes.
sit that piles can sit there for months at a time. And I'm like, I'll see it and I'll be like, I need to sort that out. But I never get there if I'm going like that, because there's nothing on that side. But it's like,
Yeah.
For example, like managing house, just yeah, it's exhausting as well, isn't it? Because you don't know where to start.
Mhm. And my boyfriend of 4 years, we've lived together for 2, he's ADD, so it probably would have been helpful if one of us was it, but he we are not the best at keeping each other accountable for it either. Just kind of like it becomes a thing when people are coming over, and that's my kickstarts me into, "Oh, I'll clean my house in a day. I can get this done in a day." But day to day, if nobody's coming to our place, I'll manage it when someone stops by.
Sometimes, like, I like it when people visit, but I don't like them to visit for more than 2 hours at a time, 'cause then I start feeling a
Yes.
little bit overstimulated and overwhelmed. But when people are coming to the house, it almost kickstarts you into, like, doing, like, a full spring clean, or maybe tidying
Yes.
a bit more and just kind of, getting a bit more organised, because you don't want them to come and see, like, the chaos that you're living in.
Yes.
So yeah, I love that. My partner's autistic. He's not diagnosed, but he's very autistic. So he's really good for me because he's like, I'm the storm and he's the calm. He's very logical. He's very kind of, he can, he does as much as he can, like day to day. But yeah, he's more kind of, he is able better to kind of implement a routine where I'm just chaotic. Like I need routine, but I don't know how to create a routine, so to speak, myself. So, yeah, it's good that he can do that. And yeah, I do. I'm just like, I don't even know how do you, where would you start? Like, yeah, routine, great.
One thing I wonder too, if this is like a universal thing, do you ever have like those nights you'll be up till like 2 in the morning and it's like, I'm going to start working out tomorrow. I'm going to do a diet plan tomorrow. I'm going to do this, this, and this tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and I
Yeah,
can't bring myself to do it.
yeah, yeah,
Motivation at 2 in the morning and that's it.
yeah. You're almost lying there and you feel like you can save the world, like you're gonna change the world tomorrow and you're
Yes.
gonna do this, and this, and then you wake up and obviously you've not had a lot of sleep because you were up late, like changing the world.
Mhm.
Doing everything that you wanna do to basically, whatever you were thinking, and then, yeah, the next day comes and it's just like, well, like, it's almost like that didn't happen last night. I'm tired
Yes,
today.
yes.
I've got less sleep. So, yeah. Yeah, I do. Go on, carry on.
Believe any of that,
Live in
it
chaos.
too is like
ADHD is now classed as being overdiagnosed. No, it's not overdiagnosed. The reason why we've got a lot of people waiting to be diagnosed is because, and particularly women, is because we've gone undiagnosed for all of our lives. And it's like, no, that it's not being overdiagnosed now. It's just there's more information, more awareness. Women are starting to realize that, the symptoms can present very differently in ours, and we can be primarily more inattentive or, and it's like the stereotypical kind of ADHD, the little boy in the classroom being disruptive and misbehaving is, we were girls, we were at school, it didn't get picked up because maybe we were just either overcompensating and working harder than we should have to, or we're just daydreaming and the symptoms are very different and stereotypical kind of presentations. And even just for women, like there's an expectation that we're going to be quiet and sit down and we're going to do the house and we're going to look after the children and we're going to manage the home. And then if you kind of deviate from that, then there's got to be something wrong with you, hasn't there? But there's nothing bad wrong with us. I just
mhm,
think it's, and that's why I love um this space that I'm creating. I just want people to come and be yourself and let's talk about your ADHD and let's kind of change that negative narrative into more kind of positive narrative. So yeah.
It's definitely, that's what's so crazy too is that it's become and I was talking to my dad about this, he's born 1966. Our obviously, getting raised is a lot different, and before, it used to be you could talk about it. You could talk about it at work, and it was just what's currently going on, and now it's like, you have to be really careful about, "Oh, I might say this, and it might set someone completely off, and they won't we won't agree, and it'll be so, like, terrifying and just awful," and it's insane how like, much has changed. I think even over the past, like, 5 years in general. I think since COVID, really, I feel like we've hit a reset since COVID, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I think as well, COVID was, yeah, COVID changed the world, I think. Completely and utterly changed the world. Obviously, it's the amount of people that it killed, but I think for us, the social media exploded with ADHD during the pandemic, but, um, yeah, I do think that COVID changed everyone, and, it's yeah, I think we're still recovering as countries, whether it's America or the UK or wherever. I think there are a lot of countries that are still trying to catch up from, you know, like general day-to-day medical stuff that, waiting lists and operations and stuff. I think that the mental health as well, the mental health side of COVID, um, definitely is ongoing. I think, people still struggle socially, and I'm not talking about ADHD or, being neurodivergent. I'm just talking generally. Like, I know there's neurotypical people that are still struggling with their mental health after COVID.
Mhm, for sure, especially here too, just tied back to, like, how crazy things are right now, like, healthcare is so insanely expensive here too, and it's definitely a privilege and, like, a luxury to be able to get that necessarily. I was on government-assisted healthcare when I got my diagnosis because I was still living at home, and my parents were small business owners, so we were on Medicaid and all that fun stuff, and even the psychiatrist that I had went to that was the only one that took my Medicaid was so understanding of, "I know that this is a resource that is not readily available to people," and did not judge for my situation or judge for me being in there and questioning, like, "I don't understand what you're telling me right now," and I think that was the biggest blessing too, was having such a good healthcare provider that walked me through the steps and helped me realize that all of these things actually are connected, like, your inability to go to sleep at the same time most days, all the way down to really struggling to make eye contact with people and feeling like, because 'cause I'm very anxious attachment, so kind of overthinking every single social interaction I have throughout the day too, that is why helped a lot me realizing, like, I'm not crazy, that's for sure.
And also, I think it's important for us to recognize and understand that there's nothing wrong with the way that we are. We're just different. We're just
Mhm.
different to, we don't necessarily keep eye contact because it makes us feel uncomfortable. And if that's how you are, then please just, don't keep the eye contact. Or I think, it's really important for everyone to understand that not all of us feel comfortable with eye contact. Like, it just makes me feel weird. It's almost painful. I can't, I
Like,
can.
I'm staring into your soul for longer than 30 seconds. I'll go wide-eyed like this. No, it's especially I get asked a lot in with other spaces where I talk about kind of like working, being neurodivergent, like why I'm in the job that I'm in, because it is very social. It's events, so it's like conferences, weddings, a lot of interaction throughout the day, like so much. And I've found that having like a niche helps kind of cope with all of that too. for example, like, it just makes sense in my brain, so I feel like I could focus on the fact that it makes sense in my brain to be able to do everything else, but then when I go home, I have no social battery left, and luckily, I mean, not luckily, I do wish it was different, but my boyfriend and I kind of work opposite schedules because he's in hospitality too, but he's a chef, so I'm very 8 to 5, he's very 5 to 11, 5 to midnight. So we kinda have our own times to, like, just be alone and then have, like, 2 days a week together to have fun and then, okay, I have no more social battery.
Yeah. And do you find when you get home, even if your partner was there, do you find when you get home you literally are so overstimulated from the day that you just can't talk? You just literally just you're done. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
we sit on our phones. We have a Siberian Husky, and he's service dog certified because his previous owner had PTSD, so when we got him, he was the full package somehow, but he's very good at he'll come over and rest his head on you to, like, push his head underneath your hands to make him pet you, because that also helps, like,
calm you
relax
down. Yeah,
and kind of decompress.
yeah,
Um, so that he's also, at the end of the day, a husky too. So he is crazy on his own, but he has this little burst of energy.
that's cute. I love the fact that the dog picks up when you need a little bit of comfort. That's really cute.
It is really nice. It is very we'll laugh about it because when we'll have guests over, if you are not okay, he will out you to the entire room. He will come up to people and, like, just wanna be right next to them, and I'm like, "I know you are not okay, and I know you're not telling any of us, but my dog knows, so now I
Yeah.
know."
Oh, I love that. That's really cute.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's awesome. They're amazing. He's also very good at kind of helping me keep my house together because I have to, because 'cause I'm responsible for someone else.
exactly. My daughter being
Mhm.
responsible, aren't you? You've got to. There's a certain level of responsibility you've got, even though she was an adult. It's still, you still know that you need to do certain things. So yeah, yeah. We had to put our dog to sleep. I can't remember how many years now. Quite a few years ago. And she always made me accountable, obviously, to leaving the house and walking her and stuff. So yeah, you miss. Huskies need a lot of exercise, don't they?
They do. I hate exercise. Like, I hate it more than anything for some
Me
reason.
too.
I also, I have POTS, so my heart does not allow me to do too much, but we have a nice, like, 50 house neighborhood that just loops. So he will love to just go on loops, and then my job is in a state park with, like, a ton of trails and stuff, so he definitely likes walking those for sure.
Nice. And you're near the beach. Oh,
Yep.
honestly.
We've only taken him out to the park. I have yet to take him to the beach, only because he's a double-coated dog, and just the thought of getting sand and the salt water out of his fur is really daunting to me.
Yeah.
So
And
I have not taken him out there yet.
that was gonna be my next question. I was gonna ask if he likes the sea and the sand. But yeah, my dog Bella, she didn't really like the wet. She didn't like wet, but she used to take her on a walk, like on the seafront, but would walk along the concrete because I don't know, she just didn't like that. Maybe she had autism as a dog. I'm joking, by the way. I don't think dogs can be autistic. It's just a joke, but she never used to really like walking on the sand. It was weird, but she'd walk along on the concrete that was just off of the beach. But I tried to take her in the sea once or twice, and she just looked at me and then walked away as though to say, "No." Like, and with the dogs, like, you can almost read what they're thinking, can't you? And she just looked at the sea, looked at me, looked at the sea, like 2 or 3 times, and she just walked away. And I was like, "Oh, okay then, goodbye." But yeah, she just not kind of interested at all. Just yeah, it's weird. It wasn't weird.
Yeah,
It was the
so around this time or in January of 2025, last year, we like, we're a coastal region, so it is always warm here. Like, it rarely dips below 40 degrees in the wintertime, and last year we had a snowstorm on the beach. It was unheard of. It was, like, record-breaking, historical. I d Nobody knows why or how it
bizarre.
happened, but we got like 10 inches of snow. And of course, us having a husky, we were like, "Oh, our husky will love this. Like this is where he's meant to be." And he went outside and he was like galloping through the snow in our backyard and then he got cold and he wanted to come back inside. I said, "You're too acclimated to this weather. Like this is your roots. You need to get back in the snow."
Yeah. Yeah, I remember trying to take Bella out in the snow as well. She just again, the rain and the snow, like, if it was raining when I was trying to take her out for a walk, she'd literally do the same thing. She'd look out of the door and she'd look up at me and then she'd be like and then just walk back in the living room as though to say, "I'm not going out there, it's wet." And even the snow, I thought she'd enjoy the snow a bit more, but no, she didn't wanna go out in it, so yeah.
Yeah, it was surprising for sure. We had a blast though. My boyfriend is originally from down here, and I'm from Oklahoma, which is like, around the middle of the United States. So I had not been used to the beaches, but had been very used to snow. And he had never seen snow before his entire life until last year. So it was so cool to watch someone at 20 years old see snow for the first time. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, bless him. Yeah,
But yeah,
I
it
don't
was
really
fun
like
for
the
sure.
snow. I don't like it because 'cause I'm very clumsy. I fall over too easily, so, like, I'm one of the types of people that likes the snow, but likes to look at it from inside, if that makes sense. I'm
Mhm.
just like, yeah, it's too slippery out there for me to go out when it's snowing or even raining heavily because 'cause I'm so clumsy, I just end up falling over most of the time, and it's just yeah. But, yeah, I do like this. Someone put something on someone put something on LinkedIn. Don't know if it was last year or the year before about the snow. What type of snow person are you? Do you like to get out there, and, make just enjoy it, or do you like to watch it through the window? And I was like, "Oh, it's not just me that likes to watch it through the window." I
That's
thought
how
it
I
was
feel about, like, the woods. Like, I work in the state park, so I'm surrounded by this south side is the beach, and the other side is just vast state park, woods, and nature, and it is so gorgeous, but
mm,
I do not wanna be in it. I cannot stand bugs. I hate when it rains. Like, I am very much so if it's raining, I will not go outside. I just cannot do it. So I definitely feel that watching it through the window. That is 100%
perfect.
relatable.
Exactly. It's just like, yeah. Have you ever experienced any storms? Obviously, you live in America, so there. I don't know if you've ever lived in an area where there's been any big storms.
Yeah, I've been through kind of both ends of it. When I lived in Oklahoma in 2013, we had, really bad historical EF5 tornadoes. Um,
Oh dear.
so those were really scary to be through. At the time, I was at school when they were hitting, and my parents both worked at a university that was I think it was, like, 30 minutes from my school. Obvious all of the cell reception had just gone out, couldn't get a hold of them, but they rolled a TV into our classroom to kind of watch, like, the news, live streaming everything, and it showed the little dot of the tornado going right past where my parents were at work at, and that I think was the scariest, like, storm to be through, but down here in 2020, with the insanity of 2020 already, we had a hurricane develop off the Gulf. It wasn't anything comparable to, like, Katrina or anything of the sorts, or the one that just hit the Carolinas, but it did some damage, and my parents owned a restaurant at the time that it flooded, like, an inch of the place, but it was really just the power going out a lot of places, and we had evacuated, so we saw the beginning of it, and then we came back to just kind of the trees being everywhere, and it was really kind of beautiful, though, after to see, like, we're a very strong community in the city I live in, so just kinda seeing, like, neighbors helping each other out for obviously with no expectation of anything in return, that was the really crazy part to see was
Yeah.
just how helpful everybody was, and on the beach, our pier that we have that let me pick up my computer again. But we have this, like we're going on a little field trip real quick.
Perfect. I love a field trip. And I'm watching
We
from indoors.
we have this pier right here. So
Wow.
during
Yeah.
the hurricane, this section had completely blown off.
Oh,
So they have it completely rebuilt now, and this part right here is 2 stories that people can kinda go up the stairs and but yeah, that's the beach if you wanted to see it from the window.
wow. Honestly, beach view. Yeah. Oh,
But yeah, it was those are definitely I think the 2 biggest ones that I have witnessed in my lifetime at least.
yeah. I mean, I've watched programs about Katrina. I've watched programs about the tsunamis and stuff as well. And one of the things that I have noticed in America regularly is that everyone looks after everyone. There's no kind of There's no hierarchy when it comes to, natural disasters or storms or whatever. I love that. And that's probably happens in the world globally, but I do think that, Americans, you guys definitely kind of just get stuck in and look after each other and stuff. So, yeah, I love that. I mean, Katrina, just, uh, yeah. I mean, the hurricane was bad enough, but then, all that water and stuff, it was just like, I was just like, what? Like, this is insane. It's
Yeah,
just,
and that's one they definitely are still recovering from today. Cause my brother-in-law live in New Orleans right now, and my brother-in-law, I believe, has been there for most of his life and lived through Katrina. In a lot of parts of New Orleans, you can still see storm-damaged houses from Katrina that just were abandoned or kind of the infrastructure to this day is still struggling, and their roads are pretty pretty bad over there. We It's a pretty bumpy ride if you drive kind of into the city part of it, but the scary part too is that they're predicted to be underwater, I believe by a certain year that will be in our lifetime, like, be below sea level for the entire city, and it's insane for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's sad. And I think the one thing that struck me with Katrina is the fact that, the storm hit, or the water hit the most, like, the lowest income people, and unfortunately a lot of them have had to, obviously they can't afford to rebuild, or they can't, they've not been able to go back to their homes. And I think culturally, like, you've got a huge gap um in the culture, because, the when you I watched the program on Netflix, and just the community spirit and stuff leading up to Katrina hitting, and everyone looking after each other, and then everyone being displaced, and it's like, you've lost a huge part of that New Orleans culture now, haven't you? Because it's people have had to relocate and not be able to go back. And yeah, I just think that's so sad, because, the New Orleans people, they used to love a party, whether they were poor or rich, or, I used to think, yeah, I think probably one of the places I would like to visit in America. But yeah, I think it is sad that, there's parts of there now where the culture is completely different. And, to me, that is really sad.
Yeah, for sure, and it's definitely a lot of people that it seems like with the least amount of resources are the ones fighting for that, like, Cajun New Orleans culture, and the ones with all the resources are really trying And it's sad, it just feels like they're trying to gentrify the area in a lot of high tourism areas. I feel like we see that too, is a lot of gentrification and loss of the original culture that made the place what it is. So,
Yeah, and I think that is really sad. And then the like the business people swooping in and, buying land or whatever and then building, but not offering, like, or the landlords that are not rebuilding to get the tenants in because we can rebuild and then charge more rent. And it's like, eh, what?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
what?
for sure. It's insane. I think a lot of like, kinda just going back to, like, the hyperfixation on how scary stuff is, I guess, is a lot of the reason why I think I kind of relate so much with the company that I work for and never want to leave. Because us being in the state park system, we're run by a company called Valor. They kind of like, it's a hospitality management. They have properties over there too. Um, but we all of our money goes back to the state to help fund the other state parks because 'cause they're not funded by taxpayers. So that's kind of the beauty in it. It's like as messed up as the world feels like it is, I feel like I'm my tiny bit contribution back to kind of the wildlife and funding just these areas that don't get the money where others do. That's like been the nice part about it too, just kind of hyper focusing on making sure that that goes well and kind of just putting, like, my pride into it has been really nice too.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great because you're actually doing that's your purpose. You're giving back, aren't
Mhm.
you? So you're doing a job that you love, but you're also contributing to a bigger picture. And I think, those of us with ADHD, we have huge kind of sense of justice and injustice and stuff. So, it just drives me mad sometimes because if I see something that's wrong, then, I will kind of say something, but I've had to learn that it's not necessarily my place to say, like, everyone's running their own race, aren't they? And as long as I'm
Mhm.
making a difference, it, 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 I try not to be as affected by other people, but I can imagine that for you, um, the craziness that's going on, like, how could you even join the dots that Tylenol or paracetamol caused autism? It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, with no scientific backing either. I think I've tried to explain it to because of course Facebook is crazy here with just a lot of I live in Alabama too, which is a very conservative state. So just kind of explaining to people that also believe like you had mentioned that over there people are saying that ADHD is overdiagnosed. Like it's not. We're just now finding out more about it and it's always been here. We're just seeing it and acknowledging it more than before because we need to. And a lot of it's like, how many if you put 10 people in a room, I'm sure all 10 have had Tylenol before, and I'm sure multiple of them are neurodivergent, but that is not linked. Like, they just refuse to understand it because it is different. And I think it's just kind of feeding more into that mentality of different is bad too, especially in the States,
Mhm.
because it's everybody here just wants to be like in the influencer era and stuff like that. It's everyone wants to be very in this specific mold and "Well, they bought this, so I need to buy this, and then I'll be perfect and everyone will like me." Like that is the biggest thing I've seen too is just everybody wants to be the same. And it's sad and I hate it so much. Like I think that's what I do like about being neurodivergent. It's like I am divergent from the path, and that's what I like. Like, it's something that I'm happy to tell anybody about and kind of wanna beat the stigma of people not being happy with that or kind of being ashamed of it too.
Yeah. And I think as well, certain funding has been cut, obviously in America for, a lot of charities that support neurodivergent adults and children. And I do think that's really sad because, yeah, we all deserve support and we're not a bad different, we're a good different and we have a lot to offer. But we need to find, the right environments to be able to thrive and reach our full potential. And I think, when you've got influential people kind of saying these insane things, like ADHD is a neurodevelopmental condition. It's a brain difference. The brain works differently. The neurotransmitters between certain parts of the brain don't fire normally, so they develop slower. And it's like, it's not like, no, it's not caused by Tylenol. It's hereditary and it's different. Yeah. And I think, when it comes to leadership or when it comes to like higher up, um, people in organizations or countries or anything, like everyone needs an ADHD person at the table because trust me,
Mhm.
like, we might be chaotic, we might be messy, we might not be able to manage our daily lives and keep on top of, the laundry or paying the bills or whatever, but we can see patterns, we can solve like, the abilities that we do have. You're missing out because we have a lot to offer, but we just, you know, in society, mostly, we're not given the opportunity to be able to thrive. And I personally think that's really sad. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do the podcast, because I wanted to kind of move past awareness, because everyone's heard of ADHD. Not everybody knows exactly what it is. And there are a high percentage of people now globally that are sick of it. But I think I wanted to move past just raising awareness and like put a positive spin on it, because I think a lot of the time, like I'm sick of social media, mostly Facebook, like ADHD is horrific. What?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that too. That was disappointing. Mm. Very dumbed down disappointing,
It's
for
just
lack
like,
of much better words.
no, it's not. Like, yes, it can be debilitating and it can be challenging, but horrific is a natural disaster. Katrina was horrific. The
Yeah.
aftermath, the displaced people that had to evacuate, people waiting days to be, that is horrific. But having the ADHD is not. It's not horrific. Like, I've had to stop following people because I just have to, say my piece. And I've had people say, "Well, you've obviously don't have ADHD if you don't think it's horrific." And I'm like, "I'm diagnosed."
You wanna
I'm
see my paper?
yeah, exactly. I can show
My
you the proof.
qualifications?
Yeah, it's like, and it's just like, no, it's not. Like, yeah, and it makes me feel sad that there are algorithms, let's say, that actually spread that kind of negative nonsense around
Mhm.
on Facebook and stuff and Instagram. I just have to I just unfollow now because I end up getting into arguments. One lady said to me, "You're very unkind. There's obviously not a kind bone in your body if you're saying," because I'd said, like, it's not horrific. It's just learn about your symptoms, and learn how to use them to your advantage rather than sitting there thinking, I can't do this, I can't do that. And one lady was like, "Yeah, you obviously don't have ADHD if you don't think it's horrific, and you're probably the most unkind person I've ever met." And I was like, "Okay."
My gosh.
Yeah, yeah. It's like,
What? That's insane. That's insane. I think it goes back to a lot of, like, people just not knowing what it is too, and I've been told so many times because 'cause I'm very open about it in my workplace. Like, when I got here, I told them, and it gets brought up a lot. just in day-to-day conversation and being told like, "Oh, I had no idea, like, I never would have been able to tell," and it's like, yeah, it's a part of it too. It's like, I can't help that I have been masking for 20 plus years of my life. I It's something that I have to work to not do, but it's like, it's not necessarily a compliment, like, you telling me, "Oh, I had no idea, I couldn't even tell," is not making me feel any better,
Mm,
like, yeah, that was on purpose.
yeah. But yeah, and I just and that's, like, another reason why I wanted to do the podcast is just to kind of, because there's a lot of people on social media that also talk about toxic positivity. And I'm like, "Oh," I roll my eyes at that one as well. There's toxic negativity and toxic I'm like, "Why can't we just have something positive about ADHD?" Like, come on. So I do I
Yeah.
do comment on these posts. I'm sure people are just like, "This woman needs to go away," because I'm like, if I see like, I can't just scroll past it, but I've had to learn to, like, toxic positivity, calling people with ADHD having superpowers. I'm like, someone said that, "Oh, this toxic positivity." I don't know, I'm putting on a funny voice, "Nee, nee, nee." And I'm like, "Hold on a minute, but there's things that ADHD people can do that you can't, and there's things that
Mhm,
you can do that we can't." But it's like there's like, it's almost like people prefer the negativity to the positivity, and
for sure.
I'm
People
just
love to
like,
have something to complain about.
yeah,
They thrive on it, and it's unfortunate, but I love that you will call it out, though. That is my favorite thing to see, especially because, like, a lot of us that if I see it on, like, LinkedIn, a lot of the times I can't comment on it just because I represent, like, my organization and our spot in the community, and seeing that people will call it out is
yeah, I do them there as well, yeah.
very, very grateful for that, very grateful. I think that's how I actually saw your profile initially was through the calling it horrific. I think that's the thing that I saw first.
Yeah, because it's not. Like, I understand. I'm actually, because I'm studying psychology, um, at the moment, and there is actually, evidence and research that's been done around, like, social media and spreading negative, like, toxic negative information. And if you say negative things, or you think negative things, or you read negative things, it actually changes the neurotransmitters in your brain. And then you're always just going to be prone to seeing everything as negative. And I just think that, yeah, it's just that, just the word horrific. I'm just like, no, no, it's, it's not. And one of the groups on Facebook, they were like, "Oh yeah, I got a little badge for being like a top fan or whatever it is." And I'm like, "There's no one that it likes me because I'm commenting and saying no, it's not like, uh, just
Yeah.
get a grip." Horrific. No, it's not. I was like, "Yeah, I'm proud. I love having ADHD. Like, I'm a proud ADHD woman." And they're like, "Eh, me. Well, good for you if you can be proud." And I'm like, "Oh, come on."
Like, yeah, good for me.
I just can't.
That's one
I
thing.
can't.
Yeah, it's really sad too, especially in, like, Gen Z, just seeing how they wanna conform to being there's a better word, but they wanna conform to being nonchalant, like, so bad, and it's like, no, if you're anything outside of that, like, you're weird, or you're odd, or nobody's gonna be friends with you, and definitely, like, a target for bullying and stuff like that is trying to move away from that. I feel like, especially with what's going on right now, is going to be such an insane, constant uphill battle
Yeah.
forever, but it's, like, one that I'm happy to be in there. I'm happy to be rolling the 5,000,000-ton stone ball uphill. Like,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm in it. I'm all for kind of that as well. So,
and I love that. Like, I love so much what you're doing, and I feel like it makes so much more of us just feel, like, more seen, and it's I feel like it'll have a good like, ripple effect too. Because I mean, just feeling seen nowadays is so hard, like, it is so difficult. I feel like in a world of social media where you put out your best self all of the time, yes, please tell me about how big your laundry pile is right now because mine is the entire floor of my laundry room.
Yeah,
Like, it's just so amazing to see that s there are still people out there, like, trying to make it a better place and make us more seen and let people know we're cool. I think I'm cool.
definitely. I agree. You are cool. I think I yeah, that and that's pretty much why I set it up. Is because I just wanted people to have a voice. And I wanted to kind of do it as like a celebration rather than, yeah, we can talk about things that we might find challenging day to day, but then we're going to talk about how do we cope with that? What strategies do we use? Like, how are we kind of making the most of our life and ADHD and stuff? So, yeah, I think it's pretty much it's doing what I wanted it to. I just didn't think it'd do it as quickly because I went from like one guest a week to like over 112 people contacting me on LinkedIn, and I was like, oh my god, like I was very overwhelmed because I was just like, I don't know what happened to the algorithm, but that day it was like, I don't know, it was weird because I was just like, what? Because it was about 2 or 3 weeks before the post that I put up a couple of weeks ago that I'd asked for more guests, and then all of a sudden I was just like, "What?" And I'm happy, don't get me wrong. I think it's amazing that so many people wanna come on and talk about their ADHD, um, and almost kind of reframe it to be more positive and stuff. So, it's pretty much doing what I hoped it would. I just didn't think it'd be this popular this quick. So thank you for the feedback. Honestly, I appreciate that because it just makes it
Yeah,
all
it's
worthwhile for
awesome.
me.
It's so cool to watch too, like, just like you said, watching it, like, blow up, and obviously it does seem insanely overwhelming for sure, but it's c like, the nice part that as, like, a good reminder about the internet, like, there are still good parts of it left, like, building a community from people all around the world is, like, amazing, like, that is so cool.
It's a movement. I'm calling it a movement now because it's obviously starting to take some traction. It's obviously, it's growing. So I'm calling it. I'm just, I don't say big headed things about myself because it makes me feel really awkward. But I'm, I'm,
But no,
I'm,
as you
I'm,
should.
I'm nourishing that I say we, me, you, the guests, like we're starting a movement like past the social model of disability and past awareness. We're going, the next step. And I just want everyone to have a voice. And I just, yeah, so it's doing pretty much what I wanted it to. I'm not the best podcaster. I don't edit very well. Everything's like chaotic. And I'm just like, do you know what? This is just how I am. This is what's going to happen. And if you don't really wanna be involved, then I'm not gonna be offended, but yeah, I see other podcasters and they've got all this music and these intros and outros, and I'm just sitting here thinking, "I don't even know how to do any of that."
I think that's what makes it fun though, is that it's real, and we've lost so much realness
Yeah,
nowadays. I feel like we really need that back, and it is so refreshing to see that again. Like,
yeah.
I I think it's amazing to watch, like, podcasters, and I watch, like, a couple true crime ones that they have a whole production team and stuff like that, but it's like sometimes I just wanna listen to, like, 2 people talking back and forth, like, we're just out at coffee or something. Like, I don't need a sound effect when I said something insane, like, I just wanna hear people laugh. That's really the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
Trust me. Humor is one of my strongest strengths. Um, so yeah, one of my strengths, I'm also very animated and I just yeah. It's really nice to know that there's lots of women that are comfortable to come and talk to me because I don't really know how I make people feel comfortable, not uncomfortable. Comfortable, don't know. It's just like my friends say to me, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I'm
I
just
think
me, and
it's
it just happens. I'm just, I'm bonkers, chaotic, messy, just all of their things. But there's a message in all of it. Just be yourself and let's be proud.
It's a nice thing too. I think that's why people are so comfortable is because it's so real. Like, that's that's all I think I could ask for, like, at the end of the day in conversation with people, it's like, please just be real. It's so nice. It is so nice to just have real conversations for sure.
Well, I'd love to have you back again if you're interested.
Yeah, for
It's been an
sure.
absolute pleasure. Um, but yeah, that's nice. That's really nice, actually. Yeah, I got a bit of feedback from last week as well. Just a couple of women said to me like how just real, how real you are, and I'm like, how do you? And they're like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. It's
Just
just,
do it.
yeah, it's just how I am. Yeah, I don't know. I just Yeah, it's weird. Like, you say something bad about me, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, agree, agree." You say, "Oh, how do you do this?" And I'm like, I just feel awkward," and I'm like, "I don't know."
It's definitely a you totally deserve to hype yourself up for it because I mean, this has just been amazing. It's been so nice, for sure.
I just
So
want people to feel
please give yourself a pat on back. You just definitely deserve it.
I'm just gonna go and hide now under the desk now because 'cause I'm like, "Oh my god." No,
Like, "Oh,
thank
I
you.
actually have to
No.
leave for real."
Yeah, you've got to go to work. So, no, but thank you for saying that. It is much appreciated, although it makes me feel uncomfortable a little bit. But I'm just trying to smile and say thank you. But sometimes it feels really like awkward because I'm like, this is such a fake smile. Like, I just can't. And so I say, this is making me feel uncomfortable now, but thank you for the positive feedback. It's much appreciated. Then I'm like, you don't even sound like yourself. Like, I call it newsreader Emma, like I'm sensible and sensible, and that's newsreader Emma, but she doesn't come out very often, thank God, because it's a bit boring. I'm sorry, but who wants to sit and watch or listen to something that's just a monotone, like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna talk about whatever," and I'm like, "Oh, just the brain is just my brain switches off." So maybe that's why people are wanting to come on and or they're following or they're listening just because we're real, we're being ourselves. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy every minute of it. But if anyone is watching and they want to critique my podcasting skills, I'm not interested in listening to what you've got to say because I'm just little. I'm one person, one person. Last week I interviewed 5 people and it was a lot, and I've still got to edit and publish 2 of them, and this week I've got quite a few as well. So yeah, I'm just me. I'm little old me. I'm just trying to make a difference. So yeah, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure just talking to you about everything, basically, and not naming certain people because we don't really want to, but everyone knows who we're talking.
Everybody knows what I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah. But is there anything that you would like to say to listeners who are newly diagnosed or are waiting to be diagnosed?
I definitely would just say, like, find a community and lean on them, and we'll I know myself, I'm always happy to talk to anybody through it and kind of be there and understand that getting that diagnosis and kind of making those first steps is so hard because you have ADHD, making yourself take those steps, but they are so worth it, and just knowing that navigating is not linear and it's always gonna be up and down and backwards and left and right and diagonal and over the water and under the water, but
Yeah,
it's definitely nice to have a good community to lean on and kind of learning your strengths through that and knowing that there are things that other people are able to do that feel normal that you might not be able to do, but there's things that you can do that nobody else can. And that's been my biggest thing going through it is learning, like, you are gifted with such a great skill set, it's just learning how to use it. So,
Beautiful. I couldn't agree more, honestly. I could not agree more. That's just, yeah. Thank you so much for your time, and please do come back if you'd like to come back and,
Yeah,
yeah, we can
absolutely.
talk about anything really, but there's no kind of topic that's off that I won't talk about. Talk about everything.
Same.
So, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been really nice to meet you as well. And, to our listeners, what a beautiful bit of advice that, Michaela's just given you. But all I'd like to add to that is just be yourself. Like, let's just be ourselves and laugh at our bonkers bits and just, yeah, be try to be yourself anyway, because there's a lot of empowerment in that. But Michaela, thank you for your time today, and to our listeners, keep listening in the future because there's lots of more people coming after Michaela, trust me. So yeah, um, for now, to the listeners, goodbye.